Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am the real Marc Paul. Today's a bit of a busy day, and forgive the shaky camera, I'm just kind of flying handheld. I was doing a little walkabout this morning and I discovered a problem. You see right here, that's my handlebars. As you can tell, they're pretty wide. And you see those marks right there? That's my handlebars. As I travel, they're tapping the glass. So even before I get started today, I have to put at least a temporary solution on that problem before I wind up having to buy a new back glass. That solution comes in the form of a dirty sock. Specifically, a dirty sock with a hole in it. So I'm going to install, could I do this one-handed? I don't know. Let's find out. Aim that there. I don't even know if this is coming out. Nope, that didn't work. Can we do this? Look at that. If I do this, hook it over. I'm there. I hook it over like that. That should keep it from flying off. So there it is. The sock is installed. That is a temporary solution. A more long-term solution, the only thing I can really think of right now is the bicycle rack itself has two positions, one that mounts it closer to the van, one that mounts it further away. Right now I've got it in the closer. I wanted the bike nice and tight up against the van, but I think I'm gonna have to pull it out, and I will do that later today, because the plan for the day today, my friends, is very simple. This morning, I'm running errands. I am almost out of coffee. That's just a nightmare in and of itself. I also need butane, a couple other things. So we're going to go to Wally World and find some stuff there. Once my errands are done, the rest of the day is continuing tearing out Prissy's innards in preparation for building the ultimate badass minivan. Today is shaping up to be one of those days that things don't go quite the way they've been planned. Case in point, I just realized I need a shower. I feel like I need a shower, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna shower and maybe even try and squeeze a shave in. Then we'll do our errands, and then we'll take care of Prissy. I've got tomorrow as well, if things really go sideways, but it's shaping up to be a beautiful day, and I would really, really, really like to take advantage of this beautiful day. Shower, shave, and breakfast done. The sock seems to be working. I also slid the bike up a little bit. It had slid down, so we'll see how that goes, but I'm still gonna pull the rack out. But now on to the business of the day. Let's tear this van apart. Yeah, it's getting very warm out here. Very warm, very quickly. So I'm hoping for a breeze, because there isn't much of one right now, but regardless, I have a job to do. I'm gonna do it. Wish me luck. Ow! That's hot. Okay. Nope. I can't get it off. It is too freaking tight. So I think what I'm going to do instead is just cut the seat belt and leave the mechanism there. That's the way you do it. Okay, seat belts are cut. Before I do anything else, I'm taking this towel from my shower and I'm putting it over the bumper, because that is fucking hot. Pardon the language. But I've burnt myself twice already. The next step now, I'm going to remove this, and it looks like it's already loose. I'm not sure how or why, but it is. So I'm going to take that. That's a heat vent from the blower motor here. Now, in the last video, I talked about getting a quote to remove that whole heater assembly behind me. But sitting in the van, looking at it, I decided not to. And I'll tell you why. That space, essentially, when I'm in couch mode, is dead space. When I'm in bed mode, I'm sleeping, so I don't need it anyway. The amount of space that I would gain and the usefulness I would get out of it, I can't justify the time or the expense of going to the trouble. In 2019, one of the guys that kind of inspired me on this whole idea, he did something similar, and he took it to a mechanic, and this is pre-COVID prices, cost him $500. I have better uses for $500, and I don't think I'm going to get enough value for what I have in mind. So it's going to stay there. I'm going to remove the heat vents. I still want to proceed with having the diesel heater go up into the ceiling and see how that works. Maybe. We'll see what we get once we pull that out. But for now, removing unnecessary heat vents. Well, that was easy. And I was thinking to myself, I don't understand how people in really hot climate, the Sahara Desert, or the African savanna, or anything like that, or down near the equator. It's just, I don't understand how they survive the heat. Having said that, though, they probably say the same thing about us in the frozen north. I remember working with a guy many years ago. I don't remember his name. He wasn't with the company for long, but he was, as they say, fresh off the boat. He had just emigrated here from South Africa. We were working in Banff. It was about -20 out, and he was literally jumping up and down, sticking his hands in his armpits, just trying to stay warm. I felt so bad for him. I had some pocket, hand warmers, boot warmers. I just gave them to him, doubled up on my socks, and I was good to go. So while I may be sitting here going, I don't understand how they can survive that heat, they're probably going, those freaking Canadians are insane. I'd be moving in a heartbeat. Oh, it is so hot, and I can't find my water bottle. It's probably buried somewhere underneath all that stuff. But getting there, getting the dust down. Back to the business of the day. For the time being, I have decided I'm going to leave the headliner where it is, because there's just too much involved in removing it. I'm kind of thinking about, I want to do this side first. It's about as clean as I'm going to get it. I could wipe down that wall a little more. That'd be a good spot to hang my helmet. I'm going to put a shelf here, cup holders there. I want 2 MagSafe mounts, one here and one somewhere over here, I guess, for the phone, just so I can stick it to the wall. I've already got some ideas going here. I feel like I want to do more here today, but I don't know what. I'm not going to take the headliner out at this point in time. I probably should if I wanted to insulate, but I think I'll be okay with a 5 kilowatt diesel heater. So now it's to start thinking about, actually, you know what? The first thing I need to do is build a floor, because I want to level that out. Rebuild the bed again to fit the floor. I built the bed to fit that space as it was, with all the trim in and all that. Golly, I'm sweating. But once I put a floor in, I will have more latitude with what I can do for the bed. I wish I could just stick to one plan, see it through, but things evolve. It's always changing. As long as I'm insulated and heated for winter, figure the rest out, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna think on this for a couple minutes here and go find some water, because I can't find my flippin' water bottle anywhere. So while I sit here in this glorious disaster that I have created for myself, allow me to ruminate a little bit on a few things. One, I figured this would take a lot longer than it did. I've been here maybe an hour and a half tops, and that includes emptying out the back half of the van so that I could get at all that stuff. Now, fair enough, I was originally going to take the the headliner out. I got to keep my priorities in order. My imagination is running about all these things I want to do and this and that. And oh my goodness, it's so exciting. Yeah, well, priorities. Get warm first, stay warm. I say this on a really hot freaking day, but as they say, winter is coming. Dun dun dun. So that's kind of where that's at. Floors. The quickest and easiest way to do it would be a sheet of plywood with some supports at this end and insulation underneath, some holes cut out for my storage. Bada boom, bada bing, done. And that's probably what I'm gonna do, but I'm really enamored. I'm researching the idea of 80/20 extruded aluminum systems. They are more expensive, but I'm kind of liking the concept, the idea. It's modular, easier to build, lighter, so we'll get fuel savings, but it is more expensive, and I don't know the first thing about it, except that you buy all these specialty attachments and lock nuts and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a sheet of plywood laid down, insulation underneath, yeah. And then I can set the bed up on top, build it. Oh, golly. Now, here's the tough part here. Do I rebuild the bed from scratch with the sliding rails, or do I just repurpose what I've got so that it fits? The smart money says repurpose, and then next spring, summer, if I decide that I am in fact staying with the van for longer than what I thought, commit to a complete rebuild again. This could very well wind up being one of those projects that just never ends. But for now, I gotta go with the budget-conscious, time-friendly option. Once the floor is installed and insulated and all that good stuff, then we'll start going up the sides, insulate those. I've got a pretty good idea what I want to do in those two spaces, and then that should get me to a place that'll get me through the winter, and then I can decide. Because right now, when the weather is beautiful and I am not trapped inside this tiny space of mine, it's easy to plan and dream and say, ooh, it's going to be so wonderful. Well, what about when the cabin fever sets in, the claustrophobia, yeah. Still didn't find my water bottle, but yay cups. I can't think of anything else I want to do today. Once again, I gotta get better at planning my time for this project. This is ridiculous. I'm not normally this bad with my time sense, but okay. So as you can see from looking back there, Prissy is more or less put back together for the time being. And while I was doing that, while I was putting her back together, I was ruminating again more. I do that a lot. I was thinking about, how do I put this? I know myself. I know my patterns. I know that if I am stalling myself on something, a project, especially one that I'm super excited about, I need to press pause long enough to figure out why I'm stalling. And I touched on it in the last clip when I spoke about going through the winter. And the truth is, until I go through the winter, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about all these plans and these ideas I've got for this tiny home of mine. But that excitement kind of pushes me sometimes to rush into things, and doesn't always end well. Now, sure, sometimes it's just like that makes for a funny story. Haha. This is my life. This is my house. I can't afford to have my house not end well. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a firm commitment right now. I'm not going to worry about the floor. I'm not going to worry about the ceiling. I am going to build out the two sides, rearrange my storage so that it is a comfortable place that I can sit and do, and spend the winter researching different systems and ways of building out vans in general. The deciding factor, sorry, I'm kind of scattered a little bit right now. It's really, really freaking hot. Was this. I'm filming this on the Labor Day weekend. You're going to see it the week after. Now, the industry that I'm in is wheels and tires. Fall season, it is flat out hit the ground running and you don't stop for give or take 2 to 2.5 months. Any projects that I start, I will not have time or energy to finish. So between that job and I will be making a commitment of some kind to keep the YouTube thing going weekly somehow. No promises as to the quality or length. It could be just a 2-minute, hey, I survived another week. Bye. So yeah, that's kind of where my thinking is. It's a case of my excitement is leading me to potentially bite off more than I can chew and running me headlong into a disaster scenario. So manage my energies, manage my time. That's the big one. With the fall and the winter coming and the demands that my 9 to 5 put on me, taking on this project at this time, especially given that I don't actually know what I'm doing and I don't actually have a concrete, solid step-by-step plan, is a bad idea. So I'm sorry. I will get the two sides built out in the coming weeks because I really need that. But the bed, the floor, the ceiling, the rest of it, we're going to stick a pin in that and wait until busy season is over and probably until the spring. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. You are awesome. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you next week in some form. Don't know what I'll be talking about, but I will see you next week. I am the real Marc Paul. You can call me Mark. Enjoy your journey, because it's a good one. Bye.